Hi, I'm Stephen, and I would like to talk about poverty. I live in Cornwall, and when I went to poverty, I was working, and my daughter is living in poverty, and she is working. It's so wrong. Poor families in Cornwall are really, really struggling to make ends meet. It's so wrong, and the number of food banks are popping up in a lot of areas. Families, single parents are too using food banks. It's so wrong. One of the issues on poverty is the living wage. People are struggling to make ends meet. The people in power don't seem to listen or want to help. The government and the councils should be helping people in poverty. The inequality of people in poverty in Cornwall is huge. Universal credit has poor families living below the poverty line, struggling day by day. I feel very passionate about people living in poverty as I lived in poverty. I have seen what poverty is doing to people's lives. It's so wrong. I believe that if the government and councils and those in power could eradicate poverty, there's so many working families in Cornwall living in poverty, just a decent wage would help them to get out of poverty. I think a good living wage would make a big difference to poor families. Everyone is entitled to a decent wage. Today, there's so much poverty that getting people out of poverty is going to be difficult. But I'm sure with the help of the government and the councils and those in power, poverty can be eradicated and help so many people. We all could get the people in power to listen and help everyone in poverty. And that's what we need to do. People in poverty should be the first ones to be helped. It's not rocket science. It's it's so it can be easy to, to work out and to eradicate poverty. It's not difficult. If those like the universal credit, no, I think that's one of the worst benefits I've ever seen. Living on benefits, a lot of years ago now, I was on different benefits, and those were better. You could actually, live with that benefit, but this universal credit is terrible. I've never seen anything like it. It's terrible. And I know families in my village that are struggling on universal credit, and it's awful. Um, they can't make ends meet. They can't even go the 4 weeks before they get paid again. Taking this other £20 uplift away as well, that's going to hurt them even more. That £20 £20 might not sound much, but it is to those who's living in on universal credit and in poverty. Just £20 makes a big difference. It doesn't sound a lot, but it does to those who need it, and that's why I'm trying to get the message out there. I feel very passionate about the way people are being treated in poverty. It needs to be gone, eradicated. It can be done. All it really takes is for those in power to stop and think and help the people in poverty. It doesn't take much. It can be eradicated. And that's what I hope this video will hopefully get the message out there then to anyone who wants to help to eradicate poverty. Let's face it, it does need eradicating. We shouldn't be living in poverty. You shouldn't be living with food banks, clothes banks, clothing banks, and other sorts of banks. It was never heard of, 20 years ago? I don't think. It wasn't heard of very much back then, but now it's every day, isn't it? In every town, in every village, it's everywhere. Food banks and clothes banks. It's just the whole thing about living in poverty. It's horrible. It needs sorting out. And if my video can help in one way or another, then I'll have sort of done what I can. But I'm trying to do everything I can for it. I guess it's not easy for me to just sit here and do this video and talk about it. But as they say, talk is cheap. It needs doing. It needs sorting. It needs to be gone. Everybody, I think we're living in a rich country. Looking around, you would not think so. So hopefully we can internationally get rid of poverty.